Bird flu. Is there a pandemic about to explode? What does it mean for you? My friends, will this bird flu explode into something that's going to wreck our freedoms? Will it wreck our economy? Will it wreck our society on top of everything else that's hitting us? Will this bird flu wreck our world, our population, our families, our very lives? What could it do to you? That's what we're going to talk about, my friends. And this is a scary thing because there are some things about this that merit a look into. We're going to take a deep look in this video, and I'm going to talk to you about several things about the bird flu. Really, the question is the major pandemic of bird flu about to sweep the world? Now, I'm going to provide you with a brief introduction to the bird flu threat, and I'm going to discuss the following 8 points. What is the bird flu, and why does it pose a threat to humans? How is the bird flu transmitted from person to person, and how is it passed from birds to humans? We're going to talk about the signs of avian flu and how to diagnose it. We're going to talk about the potential effects of the bird flu pandemic and how it could indeed affect the world. We're going to talk about why it's been so hard for humans to catch the bird flu, which is a good thing. But now we're going to look also at a review of the recent spread of bird flu through mammals and how that could spell real trouble for us. But even far worse, we're going to talk about the insane gain-of-function research which has already been performed. And that's scary, because then we're going to talk about how to stop the spread of the avian flu and what you can do to safeguard yourselves and your chickens, ducks. Okay, and then I'm going to blast a bevy of articles that's going to reinforce all this. So now here's the introduction. The bird flu can make the recent 2020 flu look like a Sunday school picnic. As this flu begins to infect mammals, the prospects that a human-to-human transmissible variant could arise in nature go up drastically. To make matters worse, the scary, deadly bird flu viruses, they actually developed them in both U.S. labs and in the Netherlands. Yeah, gain-of-function research, and this happened in 2021. And this could cause a pandemic spread from human to human. It might wipe out half of humanity if it should escape from the lab. Oh, no, that would never happen, would it? No. But even after that, this gain-of-function research was funded by our good friends at the National Institutes Health, excuse me, NIH's National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases. You ever heard of it? Excuse me, NIAID in Bethesda, Maryland. Yeah, this is Dr. Ouch's organization. So no, they wouldn't do anything like this now, would they? What could possibly go wrong? Oh yeah, remember that little thing that started in 2020? Yeah, all right, so we're going to talk about this. And now it's time to talk about the following. Sir Martin Rees. Guys, I've talked about Sir Martin Rees' book here. It's called The Final Hour. In this book, he predicts that humanity's only got a 50% chance of surviving the next 100 years. And it was the things that he's most worried about is bioterror and bioera. And by bioera, something just accidentally gets loose from the lab. Now, there's all kind of people telling us all kind of assurances, things won't happen, blah, 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 level 4 labs. But my friends, humans design it and humans make errors, and there's errors in the labs and things malfunction. And a lot of stuff happened. We've even accidentally shipped very infectious bacteria before, in the not too distant past. So, my friends, this is going to hopefully get your attention, make you want to do something, take some action. So, here's the thing, guys. Of course, we never heard of the lab leak theory. Now, have we to do with a Wuhan bug? No, right? That was totally discredited until suddenly, and totally by fact checkers, just proven to be absolutely ludicrous and wrong until it turns out to be the most plausible thing left. Jeez. Okay. So much for all the expert fact checkers. But now, so what's happening now? Yeah, these labs have been playing Russian roulette with mankind. This has to stop. That's what it boils down to. All right, so let's go back to nature. Let's take this topic back to Mama Nature itself. In the United States and throughout the world, the biggest bird flu outbreak in history began in 2021. And it's grown since then to be a very significant worry. The virus has caused deaths to millions of hens raised for commercial purposes, and now it's spreading to mammals too. What does this mean for you? What is bird flu and why does it pose a threat to humanity? A virus called the bird flu, commonly also referred to as avian influenza, primarily infects birds but can potentially infect mammals. In the United States, the current H5N1 outbreak is affecting a variety of species, including skunks, bears, raccoons, and red foxes. The virus has also been detected in mammals in other countries, including Cambodia. Yet, other than in birds, there is no proof of extensive transmission from mammal to mammal or in other animals. But there are some strong suspicions now. So, the H5N1 avian flu has a case fatality rate of more than 53% in humans. This is why we're most concerned about it. Because listen, guys, there have been 868 confirmed human H5N1 infections in the last 20 years, and 457 of those infections have been fatal. So if you get it, it's bad. But now think about this: with all the birds that's got it, that's a very low number that have gotten it. I wouldn't be too scared of my chickens. I'll talk more about that in the future in this video. All right. So hang on. If you're worried about your chickens and all this pressure to tell us we got to get rid of our backyard hens, ain't buying it. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. Why you shouldn't have to buy that. All right. So how is bird flu transmitted from person to person? How does it pass from birds to humans? Direct contact with a diseased bird, such as touching them or surfaces contaminated with their excrement, saliva, or nasal secretions, can spread the bird flu from infected birds to humans. Intimate contact with an infected person, and it says intimate, such as while providing care or residing with one that has bird flu, could potentially pass this from person to person. But we've had cases where there's been intimate contact and no passing of it. But anyway, since this virus is not readily transmissible from birds to people, it is likely, though, that not absolutely necessary that that's the case. Signs of avian flu and how to diagnose it. Humans have everything from no symptoms to minor sickness. This is what could happen. Such as you might have eye redness or mild upper respiratory systems resembling the flu, or serious illness such as pneumonia necessitating hospitalization. A temperature of 100 degrees Fahrenheit or 37 degrees Celsius or higher, coughing, sore throat, runny nose, stuffy nose, headaches, exhaustion, or shortness of breath and difficulty breathing are just a few of the symptoms that may appear. Seizures, nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea are less frequent. I don't know what they mean by that, less frequent. But you know what? When over 50% of you die, I think there's some pretty severe consequences, right? Clinical signs and symptoms alone cannot identify human bird flu virus infection. Laboratory testing is required. So, okay, you don't know what you got until you kick over in the dying cockroach position unless you get tested. All right, so there you go, my friends. Potential effects of the bird flu pandemic and how they could affect the world. A bird flu pandemic might have terrible effects on the people around the world. A global pandemic brought on by the virus could result in widespread disease and fatalities. Over 50% of the people who contact this bird flu die from it. But this number is anticipated to go down if the virus can successfully infect the cells of the upper respiratory tract, which is a requirement for efficient human-to-human transmission. The virus, and we're going to go back into that in a little bit. The virus might also have a major effect on the world economy since it would spread widespread disease, which could decrease production and raise healthcare expenditures. This virus may also have a big effect on the world's food supply, as widespread illnesses may result in less food being produced and distributed. And think about this. Just think about how the most recent little pandemic, as it's called, wrecked the world almost with a very low case fatality rate. Of course, you can expect if something comes up more severe, there will be lockdowns again and all kind of mandates and blah, 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 blah. They've already been through it before. They may find it harder to enforce this time, even if the disease is worse, because we've been jaded by the government, and they're over what many of us think is an overreaction. Some people don't see it that way, but a lot of people see it as an overreaction. Well, this time, if something's worse, we're going to say, no, we don't want none of that no more. Leave us alone. And and this thing spreads. And, at some point they may be cracking down, maybe after it's spread around some. I don't know, guys. So what's the ultimate effect of that? But what you can expect is we're going to see disruptions in the supply chain. We're going to see disruptions in the market. And if people start kicking over, or they're out sick a lot, or these things are shut down, yeah, the supply chains may wreck a lot harder than anything we've seen. Lots harder. Food production may be at risk. So this is a huge, huge downside with our global system of distributions, with all our systems we use in our lives. We're reliant on water and power and gas and all these things that have to be piped and shipped and pumped. When they to people to pipe it and ship it and pump it and maintain the systems, the stuff starts breaking and falling apart. We could see a societal collapse that we've never seen before, because last time in 1918 we had something to really worry about. We didn't have these kind of systems to this degree. Back in the days of the bubonic plague, which took out half the people in Europe. Oh yeah, we've had a disease that done this before, back in the 1400s. So back then they didn't rely on any systems like this. They didn't have a society built that way on distributed systems and reliance upon these kind of things. So they were able to get by better than we will today, even after losing half their people. In fact, some people say that there was an economic boom because some of it is a huge surplus of land and materials and houses and clothing and stuff that had been built that people weren't using. So the other people had this stuff as a luxury all at once, and they were able to capitalize on that and kind of jerk themselves forward into some higher level of productivity. That's what some people claim. I think that's a stretch, but that's just a claim that's been thrown out there. You make of it what you will. So why has it been so hard for humans to catch the bird flu? I see there is a good question. I said it would come to this. The avian flu viruses must undergo additional genetic modifications and still cell surface receptors from human influenza strains in order to accomplish this. But viruses do that. They borrow and swap stuff from each other. So what you've got with the viruses are typically spikes and receptors on our cells. So the virus will have like a spike or some other feature on its surface. It may not always be a spike that is like a key that hunts the receptors in the cell that will let them in the cell. So if you got the right key and you unlock that receptor, the cell will pull you in or let you get in. Otherwise, that cell membrane is a defense to keep you out. But all you need is the right key, the keyhole to get in. That's what people are talking about when they talk about spikes and receptors. So I'm just putting this in a common parlance or everyday jargon that everybody can understand, I hope. There needs to be an intermediary host for people to catch this, and usually pigs have been a great host because pigs have DNA a lot like humans. They have cells, cell membranes. In fact, a lot of people use pig organs in people because there's a lot of similarity between the pig and the human. But the pig is a lot more able to catch the bird flu than us, in part because they're also out in the environment exposed to this stuff more. And pigs actually eat gosling birds and things like that. They're omnivores. And so, and they're out there where the birds do their business a lot too, in the water that they wallow in and these kind of things. But anyway, so this pig needs to be infected by both the avian H5N1 and a human influenza strain. And then that's where the gene swap occurs. It's usually in a pig, not in a person. So that pig's got the human virus and the bird virus and becomes the laboratory. That's what we remember we had swine flu and things like that in the past. That's where this kind of stuff comes from. The current variants of bird flu are also adjusted probably for a higher temperature. The bird's body temperature is 105 degrees Fahrenheit on average, or 40 degrees Celsius. There is, however, a little amount of variance between the species. Birds have warm blood, which implies that their body stays at a high temperature, regardless of the outside temperature, like us people. Humans are typically have a body temperature of 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit or 37 degrees Celsius. So it's difficult for humans to contract the bird flu from avian hosts. But to take us further, two research teams working independently have revealed that the bird flu can bind to human lung cells, but it attaches too deep in the respiratory system to be coughed up the respiratory tract and spread. So we're not spreading it from human to human, because once we get it deep and we don't cough it up. If it catches up here in our upper respiratory tract, and you cough, it comes out, and other people are catching it. But the reason it probably don't catch in the upper respiratory tract is because our upper respiratory tract, where we're breathing in the cooler air from outside, is still cooler. And with our body temperature being cooler, unlike a bird, you don't have that heat. That virus is not residing there very well, so it's residing deep into our chest. So it kind of makes me wonder how you cook this virus out getting a fever. If it's like 105 degrees, what kind of fever you got to get rid of it? But maybe they evolved more toward the human temperatures. They just don't go far enough in the upper respiratory tract. Once they get in the upper respiratory tract, they've adjusted the human temperatures more so. That's probably one of the key things for this virus. It's got to get to the human temperature liking, probably. Because how in the world can you fend off a virus by cooking yourselves up, your body to 105 degrees if that's what the virus likes? So maybe it readjusts and gets tempered for people, and then when you get the fever, it takes them out. So, you got to talk to some virologist to get the straight and skinny on that, I suppose. So now we're going to talk about a review of the recent spread of the bird flu in mammals. There have been cases of seals in both North and South America contracting the H5N1 strain of avian flu recently. Sea lions and dolphin also in Peru have been found to have the H5N1 avian influenza virus. More than 150 sick or dead seals washed up on U.S. shores recently, last summer. Almost half of the 41 stranded seals that found another case with whom the virus was detected had been infected. So they found some stranded seals and they checked them and they were also infected. So skunks in the U.S. have been affected by the H5N1 avian virus as well as other mammals. The virus was reported on a raccoon and 6 skunks in Oregon. Alaska verified the H5N1 in a Kodiak bear on Kodiak Island after Washington State discovered the virus in a raccoon there. So there you are, guys. This thing is starting to, now that doesn't mean that it's spreading mammal to mammal necessarily. It could be these mammals were all heavily exposed to the virus. And I would say that a viral load is probably a big component. If you get a whole lot of viral exposure, you might be more likely to catch it. Just getting a little bit of this stuff because it's not really tuned to mammals in the first place. So it may take a lot, because you have an immune system. It may take a lot to actually get past the fact that it's not normally attuned to you, and your immune system is going to be up for something that's not attuned to you. So it probably takes a good viral load, a good exposure. And it's probably why the caseload in people is so low. That, in fact, they just don't want to catch the people as of yet. But all these things can change. And I'll talk about that before I launch into the articles. Now, here's what really concerns me. Here is the real danger. Insane gain of function research. Gain of function research entails the altering of a pathogen to increase the capacity for transmission or virulence. Ferrets were regarded as a useful models for flu in people and were discovered to be readily susceptible to the transmission of a mutant strain of H5N1 avian virus back in 2011. A Dutch organization had intentions to conduct comparable research with the SARS coronavirus, you heard of that, and had expanded its H5N1 experiments to include work with H7N7 influenza virus later in 2013. Well, what they found, this group and also a group in the United States developed a human transmissible variant of this bird flu. Yeah, they invented and came up with a mammal to mammal in ferrets that they think would be human to human transmissible. If the ferrets can catch it, it's usually the case that the humans can catch it. And that's why they like working with the ferrets, my friends. So that's where it comes back. We come back to Sir Martin Reed. So we probably got 2 laboratories in the world that's got sitting in there a bug that might could wipe out half of humanity should it escape. Oh, no. What could go wrong with that? No, that never gets out of a laboratory. No. That can never go wrong. Oh, yeah. Well, thank you, Dr. Alchie. Holy guacamole for funding this stuff. You and others. This should never be allowed to happen. It should never, ever be allowed to take place. So we're going to talk about now how to stop the spread of the flu and what you can do to safeguard yourselves as much as you can within your own powers. Then we're going to talk about why not to worry about your chicken herd too directly. All right. When there's a high risk outside, there's a lot of birds around and the flu is deemed to be prevalent in your area, they say keep your birds inside. Now, keep them from getting exposed, your flock, and prevent wild birds from gaining access to the food of your flock if they're unable to go inside. If your birds are outside, you got to feed them outside. So basically, you protect your bird yard for your yard bird, which we call a run. Basically, you cover it. Don't let the other birds get in, and better yet, if you can really cover it, keep them from dropping fecal matters that fly over down into where your birds are at. That's one way they can get it. You know, if they're flying over and dropping their droppings where your birds are running around, then your birds can get it from that. So make sure your coops and other chicken housing are kept clean. That's a big one. Limit visitors to your flock and disinfect visitors in the vehicles, both coming and going. That's one way that you can do this stuff. And also, when handling the birds, wear safety gear, including gloves. And they suggest you wear an N95 respirator. And remember, most of the stuff, these virus particles, everybody says, well, the virus is smaller than the pores. You don't usually find a virus free floating in the air. It's usually attached to a little droplet of water, a little particle of water, which might be too small for you to see, or more likely in a chicken case, it would be in dust. It would be in the dust, maybe from the fecal matter or something, getting caught up in the dust and floated in the air. So, yeah, the mask could help with that. Anyway, a face mask that fits properly, eye protection. After handling the birds, wash your hands thoroughly with soap and water to prevent spread of the flu. You do that with any flu. Properly handling and cooking poultry and eggs to an internal temperature of 165 degrees kills bacteria and viruses, including bird flu viruses. So there you are, 165 degrees. All raw poultry should be handled hygienically, and all chickens and poultry products, including eggs, must be fully cooked before consumption. Your risk of becoming sick if you consume uncooked or raw poultry is very existent. Now, when I was a kid, I used to like take an egg and pop it on my forehead and thump the top off and eat the egg raw. That was my quick and dirty way to have a breakfast when I was camping out without having to fire up the fire if I wanted to. I did that quite a few times, and it was, I kind of liked it. It never made me sick. We used to put raw eggs and ice cream all the time. Did it all my growing up years, and then, first decade or two of my adult life, I always put them raw eggs and ice cream. In fact, I really haven't made any ice cream since because I don't know how to make it without raw eggs. I don't know if one of you guys will leave me a recipe. I should ask Chat GPT how to make ice cream without raw eggs. Bing, bing, bing. Oh, yeah, guys, it's springtime. What that means, you need to be planting, you need to get seeds, you need to get your garden ready. So I highly encourage you to go here to True Leaf Market. The link will be below. Check out True Leaf Market and get ready for the springtime. And if they don't have what you got, I got another group. I got an affiliate organization to deal with, and that's Eden Brothers. They both got heirloom seeds. You'll find things a little different on each site. So between the two, hopefully you can find what you're looking for. That'll help yourself and help me too, and it won't cost you a penny more. Okay, here is what really gets me, guys, right here. Scientists brace for media storm around controversial flu studies. Now, this article is from 2011. This article goes back to the day that this stuff was taking place. So, what they're talking about here is these guys developed this. Ron Faucier of the Herbaceous Medical Facility Center. He's in here explaining, well, why we wanted to come up with this. Also, there's why they wanted to develop this. Yeah, these are the guys. This is one of the guys who developed the man-made, human-transmissible bird flu in a lab in the United States of America. No, wait, this guy is the, excuse me. No, he is the guy that did it in the Netherlands. The one in the United States of America was done by virologist Yoshihiro Kawako. I don't know how to pronounce that. And he did this at the University of Wisconsin, Madison, and the University of Tokyo. So he had arrangements with both of these universities. And I had heard that this had been done in the Netherlands. But guys, the new Bing Chat GPT, I tried to search it for every way I could for this data right here, and it tried to hide it. It was not trying to cough this up. I had to go to other means to search because I knew this was out there. I knew these guys did this, and it just wasn't wanting to show them. This research by the Kawalka and Faucier teams. So to answer the question, in long puzzle science, does H5N1, which rarely causes human disease, have a potential to trigger a pandemic? Well, yeah, they invented one that would spread, and they used ferrets, guys. So that's what I would worry about here. That's what I worry about. So they actually went and did the dirty deed. So this is all about this gain of refers. Scientists seek ethics for H5N1 gain of function research. There are no ethics. It should never be done. This needs to be banned. H5N1 transmission or experiments, there's concern. Well, yeah, no wonder it should. So what happened? Those guys developed this stuff back in 2011. And then right after that, the Obama administration says, hey, we got to cut this out. We can't have it anymore. And they put a temporary hold on it. But that got lifted by 20. This is what a lot of people don't realize. It got lifted 4 years later. And by 2017, they're in here starting the same stuff back. Now, where did this go? Oh, yeah. One of the projects has already received, now, see here, controversial lab studies that modify bird flu viruses in ways that can make them even more risky to humans will soon resume after being on hold for more than 4 years. Science Insider has learned that last year the U.S. government review panel quietly approved experiments proposed by 2 labs that were previously considered so dangerous that federal officials had imposed an unusual top-down moratorium. See, most people thought that moratorium was still in place, but no, it got lifted in the quiet of night. Oh, how lovely. And what organization was probably behind this? Why, none other than our dear friends at the NIH's NIAID. Boy, that's a heck of an acronym. At Bethesda, Maryland. Yeah, who runs that? None other than Dr. Alchi. I think he's just now retiring, but holy smoke. What he got away with. And he's the highest paid government official. He should have been fired and criminally charged long ago, in my humble opinion. This is what they've done. And they funded it. Here's the guys. In 2011, Fauci and however you say it, alarmed the world by revealing that they had separately modified the deadly avian H5N1 virus so that it spread between ferrets. This says it directly. And here is your 2 Dr. Dooms who may have done in half our world. Gee, thank you, guys. Thank you. And funded by none other than Dr. Alchi. There you go, guys. There they are. I thought I may close this, but just got resorted. Okay, there it is. There's their picture. Here's the guys. But they look so sweet and innocent, don't they? Yeah, don't let looks be deceiving. So back to the world of mammal spread. Bird flu outbreak killed New England harbor seals, raising alarms for humans. Now, this article just came out. You see this? The Ides of March. Wednesday, March 15th, 2023. This is why I'm doing this article now, this stuff now. There's new stuff that just come out. A strain of avian bird flu appears to be killing seals off in New England coast. Overall, there were 164 known cases of deaths in harbor seals and 11 such cases of gray seals in Maine in June and July of 2022. Now, when I was trying to use Bing to search for this with the new Chat GPT, it got the year wrong. Very interestingly, it said June and July of 2023. I thought, okay, Chat GPT, you ain't got a looking glass look into the future, do you? Or a crystal ball. Guess what? That stuff is wrong. You've got to temper what you get from that stuff. It makes lots of errors. Yeah, it's amazing what it can do, but you better check it out, guys, because it makes lots of errors. Lots of errors. Let me rephrase it. It makes it's smart, but it ain't that smart. When it's stupid rapidly. And if you're not astute, you won't catch it. All right, last summer, the highly contagious strain of avian influenza has been spread. So this is another article on the same thing about the coast of Maine. There was a bunch of articles on that, guys. And here they are in Peru. Well, see, there's a lot of birds in the coastline, a lot of seagulls and things like that. So the coastlines have a lot of birds because they go out to sea and feed and they come back. And so do the sea mammals. So they might be sharing a lot of the same space. And that may be why the sea mammals are more susceptible to catching this, which is sad for them. But it could be, again, viral overload. We can't yet prove the spread from mammal to mammal. It could be viral overload because they're knee deep in bird guano. Who knows? Ah, yeah. See, this is back to that Feds lifting the gain of function research pause back in 2017. What happened in 2020? Oh, there was no effect from that. Nope, no. We heard about the case in Cambodia of the daughter and the dad that got it, but now they concluded that the spread was not person to person. Here's we're talking about all the places where the mammals are showing up with the bird flu. And here they're finding mutations in the bird flu. It's got them really concerned. Gull patterns. Again, these gulls being on the sea along with the sea mammals, but increased threat to poultry. Why? Because they're flying around and picking where the chickens are. The Wuhan. Oh yeah, okay. Maybe I don't even want to say this out loud, right? Oh. Yeah. See, when was this? 2021. Now they're suddenly beginning to discover. Oh, there was some money went over there. Where did it come from? No, that didn't happen. No way. I know the fact checkers on the fact checkers on Facebook told me there's nothing to worry about. Fake book. Sure. This is all wrong. This agreement between Republican Senator Rand Paul, who's a doctor, medical doctor, and Dr. Fauci has put 600,000 U.S. grant to the what? Where? 600,000 United States to where? Back in the spotlight. Gain of function research. Wow, what about that? Well, Dr. Fauci just tried to rename what kind of research it was. Bird flu can jump. Should we worry? USDA reports more H5N1 avian flu in mammals, including bears. 4 skunks died in Colorado. Why is it showing a picture of a chicken? Dead chicken. The article is about skunks, but the picture is a chicken. You gotta wonder. 8 skunks dead in Vancouver and Richmond. Bye-bye, skunky. Well, those are still low numbers. So I submit that person to person. Oh yeah, we're going to talk about why not worry about your flock in a minute. There's one way to tell. You can come into the CDC website and look for counties that are affected. Only 2 counties in Alabama, 1 county in Arizona. So it's not everywhere, but look, it's pretty heavy up in Minnesota, North Dakota, and South Dakota. This area is pretty heavy. Maybe Montana, Wyoming. So it's got spots that's heavier. There's just a line of it right here for some reason. That's kind of interesting, kind of weird. Florida, East Coast, West, where all you seagulls are, I guess. The same with Alaska there. Boyd's. I'm not going to read all this stuff. We've just pretty much covered that stuff. How bird flu infects humans and why we don't spread it. We've already talked that. Bird flu isn't a direct threat to humans, but experts say they're keeping a close eye on the virus. Well, it might be if it gets out of the lab or if it mutates in nature inside of a pig, like all these wild boars we let loose in the United States, which are out of control. So, yeah, there's various things on here. So let's, there's concerns about this H7N9 and other things. Oh, yeah, would you believe they had, guys, let me stop the share. Halo. Would you believe that they also resurrected the 1918 Spanish flu? It's like, why? We got nothing better to do. Let's come up with every deadly pathogen we can think of and put it in the lab. It'll be safe in the lab. We know that. We don't have no worry about no lab leak. I know that because Meta told me so. Facebook fact checkers told me there's nothing to worry about. So we good. We good. Somehow that don't inspire confidence in me that we're okay. In fact, what inspires confidence that I have more tendency to believe is the Astronomer Royal of Great Britain, Dr. Sir Martin Rees. Yeah. He wrote this book about 2003. There it is, guys. 20 years ago. Is this prophetic or what? Very prophetic. Wuhan bug broke out. There you start Martin Reeves. Still alive. Oh man, he's still alive. Anyway, chickens, your backyard chickens. Why I say don't worry about them? Everybody's afraid, they'll catch it from them and you'll start a pandemic or you get sick. Well, a lot of people handle a lot of poultry world round and have for a long time. Yet the total caseload of people that's caught this is in the hundreds. 800, millions of people that handle chickens intimately on a daily basis, and yet the actual transmission cases are very low. And those cases have not resulted, none of them to date, of person-to-person transmission. So chances are, if you get it from handling your chickens, you're not going to spread it to somebody else. If you get it, you're going to get a virus that came from a bird to a pig to a human, not from a chicken. That's how you're going to get the human transmissible thing going. So your biggest chance, if this pandemic starts getting it, is from people. But what's the government going to do? They're going to want to shut down what they've already done. They went to flocks in hen houses and the incubator houses where they grow chickens out for meat, or the hen houses where they got layer houses, and they've decimated populations of birds. Oh yeah, it wouldn't have no effect on the price of eggs now, would it? So, but they've decimated the populations. Oh, we got to worry about this. It might get over here. It might catch. And there'd be houses that don't got no bug at all because there's a bug around. They have decimated a huge population of birds. And they claim they want to go after your backyard birds. Oh, yeah. They want, they don't want you growing your own food. They want you to be dependent on the guys who are feeding you a chemical soup of fake meat and fake everything else, fake food. But don't worry, it'll be brought to you by the Gates of Bill. He loves you so much. What do you have to worry about? What could you possibly worry about? They just want to take you off the farms where you might be at risk from catching this and put everybody in a city in ISO shipping containers to live stacked up like cordwood. And you don't got to worry about nothing because you ain't going to own nothing. Nothing to worry about. You don't even own your underwear. You rent everything. But it also means you're going to share your bedrooms with God knows who and whatever. Who knows, guys? It's crazy. But I say, stay independent. Buy your chickens. Keep a flock if you can. I was thinking about getting some chickens here myself, but I don't know if I'm going to be here. I'm looking at relocation options. I've hit some hard times all at once. So I guess it'll be a new adventure if I do. Y'all get to follow me. But it's tough. So my friends, stay cool, stay frosty, as Black Scout Survival says. Guys, seriously, I wouldn't be worried about the backyard flock, but there are precautions to take. If you're sitting there petting that chicken, don't put your finger in your eye or in your mouth or nose, but go wash your hands, because that's what you do anyway when you're not noticing. You put that finger in your eye, your nose, your mouth. So if you pick up a bird flu, that's how you're gonna get it. That's how you catch a regular flu. People do it all the time. It's like, pick a bugger or whatever, whatever it is they do. Oh my, I got something in it. You just got a reflex. You just reach up and grab it. You don't even think about it. It's unconscious. And whatever's on that finger is going right in the eye, right in your tissue. You got whatever it is. So you get the regular flu. It's nasal script. Somebody else picked their nose and they handled that doorknob. Then you walk up and grab that doorknob or that faucet in the restroom, or more likely that pen, that the auto sign-in pen they want you to use at the checkouts in the banks and the stores, which I have refused to use to their chagrin. That's how the bugs spread more than anything. Just grabbing what everybody else grabs. Well, don't grab what everybody else grabs. Okay, that's one of the best ways to keep from getting anything. Far better than worrying about, I am Darth Vader. Okay, yeah. This is a very serious topic, but guys, sometimes you gotta laugh. Because if you don't, you might cry. There's a little humor in everything. So I always say there's a silver lining around every mushroom cloud. So it's kind of rough, right? And seriously though, consider you should be prudent. You should keep good hygiene. That's what it boils down to. Keep good hygiene. You should always keep good hygiene when you're out in public, with your poultry, your animals, and it just keeps the sickness down. but I wouldn't panic. I'd hide my flock. I'm not telling you what to do. Oh, I get all kind of trouble for that. Especially when the chicken police come around and get your chickens. They come after your nugs and come after your chickens and they'll come after your garden. Oh no, them maters aren't genetically modified. They're bad for you. You can't eat them maters. They don't have that fish hook gene in them or whatever. All right, friends. Just be careful. Be careful. Be aware. Keep your eyes wide open, head on the swivel, because it's coming at us from every direction. That's what I try to do these videos for. Sometimes it takes me a long time to put these videos together, and I got a lot of things I'm cooking and chewing on right now. I'm in a bind at the moment, so it's a little bit harder for me to bring videos on here. I'm going to try to bring a few more in here and pick up the pace a little bit, but it's a struggle. I couldn't do this video and do a live session tonight, for example. I mean, I've been working on this video for hours on end, and I'll work on it until tomorrow. It is 4 a.m. I'm going to go and catch a couple winks. I'm going to get back and get at it again. So thank y'all for watching, everybody. Y'all take care. Remember to share this stuff. It helps my channel because the algorithms want to go and stomp us down. So share the stuff. Give me a thumbs up. Say something in the comments below. Comment to somebody else's comment. Give somebody else's comment a like or whatever. So y'all chat it up. The more activity happens in the discussion space below, the more the algorithms will promote stuff, even though they got a knob they turn down on some of us, but still the activity helps float things up. And those of us that are out here in this community, we all need to help all the preppers and all the people that talk a little bit on this conservative side of the spectrum, and all the help we can get to get the word out, because people need to hear what they got to face. So my friends, with that, I'm going to say thank y'all all for watching. Thank you for being here. Thank y'all for subscribing. Oh yeah, and we just hit 500,000 on 5 keys for raising worms. That's excellent. Thank you, everybody. With that, I'm going to say Greg out.